So we're going to be talking today about leaving the 99, the relentless love of the shepherd. And we'll start with Luke 15. What man of you, having 100 sheep, if he has lost one of them, does not leave the 99 in the open country and go after the one that is lost until he finds it? But we're going to explore the stories that I think this is one of the best stories that Jesus ever told, because this goes into his gospel, it goes into just people in general, and holds a lot of profound truth and the heart of God. So if any of you ever lost something valuable, your wedding ring maybe, your child in a big crowd that you get kind of scared over, your wallet, whatever, it gives you that feeling of anxiety, urgency. That's the picture that Jesus is trying to paint in the whole leaving the 99, going after the one. The story isn't really about sheep, it's about people. It's about how God pursues the lost, even at great cost. And it's a reminder that God doesn't love the crowd, he loves the one. So let's talk about the heart of the shepherd. Jesus says, which one of you, if he has 100 sheep and loses one, does not leave the 99 and go after this one? It sounds kind of crazy, right? That if I had 99% of my investment, I'd almost write off that one because 20%, right? But Jesus says the shepherd leaves the 99. Why? Because the heart of the shepherd is for the lost. The Pharisees had a different view, though. They were criticizing Jesus for eating with the sinners, but Jesus wasn't careless. He was intentional. He came to seek and to save the lost. So in Luke 19:10, for the Son of Man came to seek and to save the lost. That's the whole shepherd's mission. Then we'll visit Ezekiel 34:11. In Ezekiel 34:11, for this is what the sovereign Lord says, I myself will search for the sheep and look after them, as a shepherd looks after his scattered flock when he is with them, so will I look after my sheep. I will rescue them from all the places where they are scattered on a day of clouds and darkness. And you notice that's not really a passive shepherd. He's a pursuing shepherd, one who refuses to let even one soul drift away and be unnoticed. So the value of that one sheep, to the shepherd, that sheep wasn't just a number. It was known, it was loved, it was seen, he cared for it. So each of us at some point has felt like that. Maybe you were the black sheep of the family. Maybe you drifted from God and you wandered around. I've done that a few times. Does anyone even notice? Does God care? And the answer for Luke 15 is a resounding yes, he does. Because he always goes after that one. In Isaiah 49:15, she's got it up already, she's fast. Can a mother forget the baby at her breast and have no compassion on the child she has born? Though she may forget, but I will not forget you. Every soul matters to God. You're not just a statistic. You're a soul and you're a number. No. You're a soul and you matter to him. That one sheep was worth the journey, worth the risk, worth the effort. That's how God sees you, and that's how he sees everyone and sees the whole world. Now we can talk about the cost of the rescue. When leaving the 99, it wasn't just like a poetic metaphor or nothing, it was costly. In the parable, the shepherd goes out into the wilderness. That meant exposure to danger, other wild animals, bad terrain, just unpredictable, conditions. And what happens when the shepherd finds the sheep? In Luke 5, I don't know if I gave you that one. I'm just paraphrasing out of it, so yeah. But in Luke 5, he says, he lays it on his shoulders, rejoicing. This is not an irritated shepherd dragging a stubborn sheep through after he finds him and is angry that he ran off. No, this shepherd is rejoicing in the rescue, bearing the weight of the wounded. He went out and found him. He was happy, not just, want to punish him for wandering off. He was glad and happy that he found one. Now, if you fast forward to the cross, Jesus didn't just Jesus didn't just bear us on his shoulders. He bore all of our sin on the cross. And John 10:11.
Hey, you said Luke 5, but you didn't say 5.
I just took
You're fine.
I just took a sentence on it. It's good. And John 10. John 10:11. There you go. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. The cost of finding the lost was his life. That's the gospel. Yeah, that's the gospel. So that saying that Jesus did the same thing for all of us, that he took the cost, he went to the cross for all of our sin and for everything. So this little short story about leaving to find one sheep refers back to the gospel, refers back to us. I think I was the one sheep at one point that I wandered. I was found, and life's been completely different since then. So I'm glad that people will go out and find you, that you don't have to just annoy people necessarily. You can just let them know about church, let them know about things, and eventually when it's their time or they've wandered enough, they'll remember who talks to them about church, and they'll come find you, or you might find them. It's always going around like that. Then the joy of the restoration. In Luke 15:7, it ends with a celebration. There will be more joy in heaven over one sinner who repents than over 99 righteous persons who need no repentance. So, I said, God is going after the unperfect. He wants the troubled people. He wants the sinners. Jesus broke bread with sinners. And, Pharisees always, why is he eating with them? They're criminals. They're this. They're the ones we need to go find, because there's a lot of empty seats in here that we could fill with, lots of people out there that don't know anything about the gospel. Nothing about, the Lord and church and how good it can be. So, all of heaven rejoices when one lost soul comes home. Imagine this. The angels aren't standing and cheering when we build a building or sing a song, but when a sinner turns back, and heaven erupts with joy. So that's what they're up there for. They love it. They're watching us and just want that one sinner to come back, And why? Because the shepherd's mission was fulfilled. The one came home. That's why Jesus endured the cross, for the joy set before him. That joy was you or me or anyone else. In Hebrews 12:2, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and the perfecter of faith. For the joy set before him, he endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat at the right hand of the throne of God. So I think we're all called to be, just like the shepherd. That, like I said, kind of the whole gospel reflects. It comes right back to this story. So this is the part when it starts getting a little personal on us. That if Jesus is the good shepherd, and we are all his followers, then our mission must also be to seek the one. Who do you know that's wandered around, that just ain't, living right, that's doing whatever? Or who's missing from the flock? You got a black sheep of the family that, needs help, or they're just like, they really benefit from coming to church. Okay? And do you know anyone that's alone, or that's hurting, depressed, anyone that just seems like they've been forgotten? You can go out and find them. Leaving the 99 may not mean walking into a literal wilderness, but it may mean leaving your comfort zone, crossing cultural or social barriers, or risking rejection to pursue someone. In Matthew 18:12, that pretty much echoes the same parable that we're going through, and Jesus ends it with a question. Why do you think if a man owns 100 sheep and one of them wanders away, will he not leave the 99 on the hills and go look for the one that has wandered off? And if he finds it, truly I tell you, he is happier about the one sheep than the 99 that did not wander off. In the same way, your Father in heaven is not willing that any of these little ones should perish. So, like he's saying, let's go after that one person that you feel like, invite him to church. One of my buddies, not this one, one of our buddies, they grew up in church, and then he kind of wandered away for a little while. Me and Amanda got saved, started going to church. And just little tidbits here and there. He'd come over on a Saturday night, like, hey, bud, we're going to see you in the morning at church. Yeah, I'll be there. Never showed up for a while, and we'd hang out again. Hey, we're going to see you at church in the morning? I don't know, maybe. And after about a year and a half of messing with him here and there, and, we were never, it was jokingly, but it was like, you do need to get into church. And sure as could be, one morning he showed up at church. I think he's got 8 years of sobriety now. He's just got remarried, does a bunch of men's groups and all, completely changed his life around. And he always says that, you and Amanda, got me back. And I was like, we didn't get you back. God brought you back. And we were just helping and there to, push you along a little bit. So that's the whole mission, I think. That's the whole gospel right there, that, go out and find the hurting, go out and find the ones that need the help, and that's the heart of God. But let's not be content with the crowd while everyone is crying out in the distance. Like, I look out, I see we got a few new people here and there, but you come to church on Sundays and you normally see the same people, and it's, which is fine. I'm not saying anything bad, but we need to go out and find a few people here and there. Invite, your brother, your cousin, your buddy. Just, hey, come on out to church one day. It'll, you can go out and have some fun. I can tell you a few stories about going after the one, leaving the 99. I've done a lot of Celebrate recoveries, but a lot of leaving the one or going after the one has a lot to do with like addictions and all, so I have quite a bit of experience in that. But we were at a Celebrate recovery, and a guy had walked up afterwards and was talking, and hey, I kind of stealing the story off Celebrate recovery, but it wasn't me, but come up to one of the leaders and was like, hey, I want what you guys have, but I can't do it. And the leader's kind of looking at him like, well, what do you mean? And he's like, well, I smoke pot. And the guy's looking at him like, so well, I can't get my heart to the Lord, He's like, I smoke drugs here and there. And the guy looked at him and said, why don't you give your heart to the Lord, and then you and Jesus take care of it? And he kind of looked at him dumbfounded, just, what? And like he said, you smoke cigarettes, vape, whatever, chew, you eat sugar, do whatever. It's all bad, but people still do it, man. Give your heart to God, come to Him, and let God, Jesus, and you take care of your issues and your problems. And a couple weeks later, the guy actually ended up coming back and gave his heart to the Lord, and now, it's been a while, but the story from the Celebrate Recovery Facebook page says he's like 2 years sober now. So, you never know who you might meet or talk to that's willing to come around.